and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. Then you'll spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. But till that morning, there's nothing can harm you. With Daddy and Mama standing by. But till that morning, there's nothing can harm you. With Daddy and Mama standing by.
You're listening to Big Blend Radio special Summerfest show with Nancy and Lisa and special guest co-host Judy Cohen. We call her Traveling Judy, and you just heard Summertime, and that is from the album Magic by Billboard charting multiple award-winning singer-songwriter Doreen Taylor, and we're so excited to have her back. I encourage you to go to her website, DoreenTaylorMusic.com. Doreen, welcome back. How are you?
Hello there. How are you?
Oh, doing good. It is so good to have you back. Oh, my gosh, it's been too long.
I know. Happy summer. It's the longest day of the year today, isn't it?
I don't know, man. Everything's a blur.
I think this is.
Cool. That's fun. It's good with me. We've got good music. Yeah. We got good company. We have wine. I mean, what more do we want, right? That's a good thing.
You guys are having a better party than me. I need to join and come travel with you, I think.
Yeah, I think you should. You never know. I think we're gonna end up in your area this year. This could be
You
the actual,
are.
I'm serious. It's going to happen this year.
All right. You tell me when, and I will do a show just for you. I'll find a way, and I will have you there somehow.
I know you will. I know. There's no joke about it.
Even if I got to do it in my driveway, we'll find a way.
We'll do it. We'll do it in a garden or a park. Let's do a park show, right? A park.
That's true.
That's what we could do. Well, I'm glad you're here. And Judy is Traveling Judy is our guest co-host, and she's one of our Big Blend experts, travel writer experts, and she's a big music fan. Judy, did you enjoy that version of Summertime? I know you did.
I love that. version.
Thank you, Judy. How are you?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too, Doreen.
Wow, this is so cool. It's been a while since we played that song, and I'm like, dude, this is such a good.
It gives me the chills.
I know the vocals on that is so.
Yeah,
it's that
amazing.
is such a good recording. You did good.
We
man.
wanted to do something very different because so many people have recorded and covered that song. I mean, I think it's up there for probably, I think at one point it was the Guinness Book World Record song for most covered tune. So, yeah, so how can you make it original is probably the hardest thing possible. And we really wanted to give it a very New Orleans funeral kind of feel with the horns and something a little more Southern feeling because it's a country album. That was my Magic is a country pop album.
Yeah.
And so we figured what would be the best way, but still leave it unusual or original. So that was sort of the ghostly, haunting, almost like that funeral kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And I think we're hearing it. I haven't heard it in a while. It's weird to kind of revisit it after all these years. And, it does have a little haunting kind of feeling.
Yeah, it's cool. I dig it. It's got that swampy South mysticism in it. And
it just
I can
takes
still
you
say
right
that word.
it takes you right to Louisiana. I mean, in our travels, that's exactly, remember that one place where, Lisa, that we stopped and we could see these guys fishing, and they were fly fishing, and they were really slow with it.
I don't like they were catfishing. They were catfishing. They catfished. And it was that was south of Lake Charles. We got lost, and then there's like these old juke joints out there, and they're like like Friday fish fry. Sorry, Nancy and I don't eat fish, so we're really dumb about it. But it was like fish fry, and they're all, they were all just. Fishing off the side, off of any water that they could find. And it's all over Louisiana.
This reminded me of that. Took me right down south.
The bayou. Definitely the bayou, that kind of, that lazy, sort of lazy feel, warm, hot, really encapsulated the idea of summertime in my mind.
Yeah, it sounded very, very, very relaxing. It's a song that I could easily put on and lounge by a pool or by a lake. It's just beautiful.
I'm into lounging.
The music video, when we did the music video, I wanted to keep it very raw because the song was one of my more raw kind of feeling songs. It wasn't produced in the big grand way that some of the other ones were on that album. So I wanted to also do the music video more just me and a cameraman in a park walking around, and I had this grand idea of let's go into this really disgusting body of water lake that I don't think any human should ever go in. But I decided I was going to walk out into into the horizon and finally go under, almost like at the end of the song during that long outro. And I swear I probably caught things in there. I don't know. Talk about fishing. I probably caught some stuff in there, and it lasted probably. Probably took a doctor's prescription to take it away, but.
Nice. This is good. This is good. Let's get some Doreen gossip. Well, what's interesting about you, and I remember first connecting with you, and you came on the show, and it was our anniversary show with Magic, and you brought it on, and we've played your music for years, and had you on the show over the years, and it's really interesting how you go into, okay, I'm going to do more of the pop thing, and then you're in the theater side. You did some shows recently over the last couple years that are amazing. You did an Enchanted Evening, a night with Oscar Hammerstein. You've done all the, and then Sincerely Oscar, right? You put up your own, productions, and before this, you had Happily Ever After, and we played. I call it Unstoppable, the Unstoppable album. I know it's Happily Ever After, but I do call it that. But it's interesting to see you kind of flow into different genres, but it's still Doreen through all of it, and your amazing voice. And so I have to ask, what's next? I mean, I don't know. You could be doing a hip hop album for all I know, and it wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know if I'll go that far over the side of the spectrum, but like the last year or two, I've been doing. I returned to musical theater, and I starred in that show, Sincerely Oscar, off Broadway, which was pretty cool to say the least. To be starring in a show, your own show off Broadway, and to do 52 performances, and it was kind of an eye opener though, because it was good and bad. It was a wonderful experience, obviously, for many reasons, but it was also teaching me that I don't really want to live in a big city. I don't want to live in an apartment and be in New York and do the scene. It wasn't for me. I'm more of the outdoors, live in the middle of nowhere, and that's me. I'm an outdoors girl. So I learned a lot about myself doing it, and the stamina that it took to do an 8-show a week, and the magnitude. You'll be hearing a little of the vocal, kind of what I did in that show later on, a little hint. But to do song after song after song of all these huge ballads, one after another of Rodgers and Hammerstein and Oscar Hammerstein's hits that, they're huge. And to do them 8 shows a week, sometimes doing 2 shows a day where you do the matinee and you do the evening show. While I got through it, and I was sort of really surprised I was able to get through it and be vocally very strong, actually stronger at the end. It took so much physically out of me to do that, and to also be also an actress on stage and do all those things, and doing like a lot of acrobats on that kind of stage. It was a very athletic kind of stage where we had to keep moving and moving and moving. And I said, I'm getting too old for this. What the heck?
She's got the Beyonce. Well, it's true. I was watching your, even with Toy, when you did Toy, and then also I was watching, and I was like, dude, man, you've got to be really fit. And it's, obviously for breath work, for vocals, right? But to do all the dance moves and remember all of that stuff, I could do that when I was a kid, maybe. But like now, heck no.
I'm sitting right here, Lisa.
I said now, if someone says jump at this time, I may just look at them and say, I beg your pardon. I have a glass of wine. But, it is hard work. But I think it's important that we all understand that. When you go to a show, how much work goes into a show. And you sincerely, Oscar, think about that. You put this whole production together. It wasn't just, hey, we're just doing a show and I'm singing in it. This was like all of it, right? You had to think of every little detail.
Yeah, I was the creator. I was also one of the producers. Went out there and I starred in it. It was like how they joke about it in TV where it says written by, produced by, co-starring, costumes by. It was kind of like a joke where I did it all, but I did. It was sort of my baby, and it kind of was a show that sort of grew. It was never something like a show. People write a show, they know they're going to put it on Broadway, they know they're going to do this, and it goes through its stages. That was never the intent of that show. The show started as a fundraiser. I met the Hammerstein family at a red carpet event of mine. And I met little Oscar the Fourth, who was 6 months old at the time, and I hit it off with the family. It was royalty, pretty much musical theater royalty on my red carpet. And we started talking about Oscar Hammerstein's farm, which is very close to where I live. It's a suburb of Philadelphia in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. And he's Will Hammerstein, who is Oscar's grandson, was telling me all about how they want to tear it down. They want to put it in a subdivision, and I'm so anti-building. I think we should leave everything alone. I'm preserve kind of person.
Yeah.
So, and then to hear about my heritage and where I started, which is really musical theater and singing these same songs like Sound of Music and these shows that he did, that's how I started. So to hear that this is a piece of who I am right here in my backyard, and maybe now I can do something about it to help. So I decided to put together this really cool show. It was a one-night thing at the Bristol Riverside Theater, and it was just an evening with Oscar Hammerstein, and we were going to do it. It was a docu-musical, so we interspliced the shows with clips and footage. It was really a very, really cool kind of experience. It was multifaceted. It had video. It had, interviews. It had things like that. And then we would intersplice these performances with live performers, myself and a co-star, and it sold out. We had standing room only. We had to turn people away, and the response was so great. So I sat there and said, wow, there was a feeling. You do it long enough, when there's a feeling of something good. So I said, we got to do this again. But how? Where? What do we do? So we took that very show, and scaled it up a little, made it very New York, very metropolitan, and took it and did a 2-week limited engagement off-Broadway. Same title of the show, An Evening with Oscar Hammerstein, and did very, very well. By the end of the run, in just a 2 weeks' time, we were turning people away. So we had full houses and said, this is pretty cool off-Broadway. Nobody knows us. We're here doing this, because I was really a mainstream singer coming in now trying my hat at Broadway or off-Broadway.
Go, girl.
And and I said, you know what, again, you feel something very special. So we scaled it up again, and we created the show called Sincerely Oscar, where we took the show, the original format of the show, but created an actual theatrical experience, so a real show. We were the first show ever off-Broadway or on Broadway that integrated a hologram. So we created Oscar. Yeah, because instead of doing the interviews and the things with the, all the docu-musical portion of it, we brought Oscar back to life, and he told his own story. He said, I wrote the script, I wrote the book, and took all excerpts of things and quotes that he said, and then I filled in the rest, making it sound like Oscar. And he told his own story throughout this whole production, and it was really cool. I mean, very, very popular with audiences. Audiences really, really, especially a certain demographic, were just loving the show. It brought tears, it brought memories back to a lot of people, and it was a great experience.
So with this now, did you help with? Were you able to save the building and the property? Where are you on that?
They're still on hold. They have raised, I haven't gotten the totals of what they've raised since, but I know that it's still there and they're still protecting it. So things are good. Yeah. So, I think through just my efforts and everyone else's efforts that got involved with this project, I think we'll be able to save the home.
Wow. Judy, what's going on? You sound like you've got like a cooler in there. Like, do you have a cooler of wine? What's going on?
My husband is just washing some trees, believe it or not. I apologize. I sincerely apologize. I wish I could share these stories with you all.
Like, what's he doing? He's gonna. It's like
I thought somebody was going through the car wash.
I know. I was just like, it sounds like a giant cooler or something, and I'm like,
I don't know. I thought he was pouring a solid drink. Come on.
I know. That's what I thought.
Throwing him outside right now. We won't have any more disturbances. Out of here in a moment. Doreen, I do have a question. I got a question for you, Doreen.
Sure.
You started out. Were you trained in music classically? Like, how did you get your start?
Yes, actually, I have my master's in opera. So I went for undergrad at the Hart School of Music and then continued my graduate studies at Temple University in Philadelphia. That's actually why I stayed in the area, because I'm originally from Buffalo. So I know nothing of Philly, but when I went to grad school, I really enjoyed the area. It was so local to the places that I needed to be, so I planted roots in this area. But yes, I was an opera singer, and really when I started singing. I always used to sing, but professionally, I think I had my first paying gig when I was maybe 16. I think that was my very first gig. I really didn't do anything before that. I didn't think I could make a living doing it. I just thought, well, I sing, it's nice, and I really love it, but what can I do with it? And then when I got a little older and I started taking voice lessons at 16, I realized, well, maybe there is something I can do. Mm-hmm. So I became, I started doing it, taking voice lessons, and my voice teacher was the one who sort of talked me into auditioning for undergrad schools and said, hey, there's something freaky about you. You got a really freaky instrument in a good way, where I had 3.5 octave range and was able to do a multitude of styles, and she said, you really should just audition for fun. I wanted to be a doctor. That was what I was going to do.
Wow.
So I said for her I did it because I trusted her and I really liked her, and they came like in tours to Buffalo. So certain schools, one of the top tier schools would sometimes come to Buffalo in little tours and do auditions. And they go to major cities, and she picked 3 of the really good schools and said, just, you don't even have to go anywhere. They're on your weekends. Just go and, we'll prepare you and just sing. And I got into all 3, and Hart School of Music gave me a full scholarship. So
wow, you go,
I said,
girl.
you know what? Yeah, I said, it's either I pay for everything for going to medical school, and I pay every dime because I'm not going to get any aid or help, or I try this and take this leap of faith, and I did. I took the leap of faith, and I've never looked back.
And we've all benefited from that. I mean, this music is a real gift, and your versatility, like just moving from all of those different kinds of singing and music, is a real indication of your breadth, and your talent.
Thank you. I was doing the Lady Gaga thing before Lady Gaga ever did it. Everybody used to tell me, well, when I used to meet back in the day when I put out Magic, I met with some of the top people from CAA and APA and these amazing artist representation and agencies, and I went right to the top. It was so stupid of me. I started too high, and it was probably because, through connections, you meet people, and all of a sudden, I don't meet, like, a middle-tier person or somebody else. I meet, like, the president or the CEO of the company, and I sit there in a room with them, and I'm so inexperienced. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, really the only feedback I ever got was they love me, love me, love me. They didn't know what to do with me. They wanted to put me into a box, and they didn't feel they didn't know what the box was, because even Magic, while it was country, wasn't really country. It was pop, it was southern rock, it had rock and roll in there, it had a little bit of adult contemporary, it was everything. So they were very confused by me, and that was always that sort of story of my life.
You know what? But that's annoying as hell, because I think it happens to good musicians and good singers, good singer-songwriters, and it drives me nuts. It's this whole thing. That's why we're the blend. Oh, you must only be this. Oh, bull. You know what? Because it's like if you've got this, art is art, right? And so it shouldn't be pigeonholed. It drives me absolutely bonkers about pigeonholing.
I agree. The thing I learned really quickly is they don't see it as art. They see it as a product. And they want to make money. They want to put a label on it, put it on a shelf, and sell it. And they don't care about the artistry. They would... Because think about the music that's out there today. I mean, I don't like slamming other artists, so I won't mention any in particular, but there's so much out there that is just noise, and it's just a mass-produced product that has no feeling, has no heart, has no real anything. Music like it used to be, it's gone. Nobody's really doing that. Even the ones they think are artistic now are really not. They're still a mass-produced product that's pandering to a certain demographic.
The streaming services, I don't want to turn the show into negative, but what's going on with the music industry? It's right now it's really important to support independent musicians as much as you can, directly as much as you can. The streaming services, like Spotify and all of them. Sorry, I know our shows go on there too, and we don't get anything from that. Just like musicians don't. Here's your little penny for a play. Do you know how much work goes into recording something and then getting it out there? And it's like right? It's not that good out there. I think Bandcamp is the only one left. I've been trying to research like who is good, and it seems that that's the only place that is Bandcamp. Maybe.
Oh yeah, I got a check. I think it was about maybe a year ago. I got this like random check in the mail, and it was for 6 cents. And I said, I think it was like a whole long period. I said, 6 cents. It took more for you to print the paper, the ink, and to mail it than it would be to get that stupid 6 cents. And
I know.
I know.
It's honestly ridiculous.
Wow.
It seriously is. It is so funny how people adore the arts, but want to pigeonhole and label them and make them
take the money out of it too.
And it's so funny. Like sometimes I'm listening to a song and I'm like, I know that song from like 10 years ago, and it will be a musical phrase. I'm like, oh, you stole that from that, or you stole that from that.
Oh, they all are. They're all doing that now.
I know, and it's like, what song am I really listening to? And it's like a hodgepodge of 3 different songs from 10, 20, 30 years ago, and thinking that nobody will notice. And like,
they call it sampling. A lot of times they'll actually take the actual part from it. They don't even change it. They'll sample it. And as long as they play a certain amount of it, they can get away with it.
Yeah,
so they stick that in there, and all of a sudden you're like, like Blurred Lines when he stole Marvin Gaye's song, that huge court case that dragged on and on and on. Yeah. There was no question. Anyone with an ear could tell.
Stairway to Heaven is still in trouble, I believe. Yeah,
sometimes I think when we're listening to a song on the radio, especially when we're traveling in the car, it's like, wait a minute, this is one song, but I just heard 3 different ones, and I'm thinking, did you switch stations? Lisa's like, no, we're on the same song.
Somebody did a cool experiment, like maybe about a year ago. They did something where I think it was a video, probably it's somewhere on YouTube, in the world of videos, but they mashed together the top songs of the year and how they played one back to back from each other, and they're almost exactly the same.
Well,
it was eye-opening to see it.
Wow. On a high note, on time, we got to get going, and I hate to do this, but we got to end on a high note with Doreen. We got a cooking class, and we still got to go to Alaska. So, Doreen, we're very excited because we get to play something new and very, oh my God, girl. I was listening to this, and I'm like, holy cow, I really do want to see you perform in person. I would love it because when the power of this is absolutely, this is so exquisite, and so you guys are going to all be blown away. Like, I don't want to steal it, just carrying on about how good it is. It is really incredible.
This
badass
is the
is like an understatement. Yeah, it is a showstopper. Exactly. That's the word. Thank you for that. I'll have another sip of wine while you get up the real words for me. But showstopper is exactly it. Tell everybody what we get to play because we're very excited and very honored that we get to do this.
You are the premiere of this. I actually was going to unveil it before the drama of everything that has kind of unfolded the last few weeks. I was going to release this, and everything sort of told me this isn't the time to just kind of hold this back. So when we decided we were going to do this interview today, I said, now I think it's the time. This is the perfect time to give it to you and for you to premiere it.
Thank you.
And my pleasure. And this song was very special to me. It was in the works, obviously. This is it's not a song I wrote, which is very unusual, but it's from my show Sincerely Oscar, and I re-recorded it and did it in a version so it would be playable. And it's Climb Every Mountain from The Sound of Music, and thought that it would be very inspiring for everybody right now. I mean, with everything going on in the world, I said this is the time. This is the time to release this tune.
Cool. Absolutely, and it's inspirational, and it really goes with you as an individual, in just the integrity you have in your career and your music, and putting the best foot forward. You always do, and so I think this song is you.
I got to sing for real. There's certain styles and there's certain things you do with pop and everything, and there's certain little effects you throw in. This is really how I sing, and this is my real voice, and this is, if people say, how do you sound, this is how I sound. This is my real voice, not holding back. This is my voice.
Awesome. So here it is, everyone.
Cool.
Climb
Wonderful.
every mountain. And I learned something from Doreen. It is not climb every mountain. It's every mountain. So
that's right.
It has the little apostrophe in there. Yes.
I'm like, I love my apostrophes and my commas. I'm just annoying that way, but I like this. Everyone, keep up with Doreen at DoreenTaylorMusic.com. She's on Facebook, and she's also on Twitter, so keep up with her there. Thank you so much, and happy summer, Doreen. We'll see you when we get east.
Thank you so much. Happy summer, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Doreen.
Climb every path you know.